features. You know what made recording that intro very hard?
What's that?
Me being bad at singing.
That tends to get in the way.
It sure does, Billy. It sure does.
Anyway, welcome everyone to episode 49 of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Robert.
And I'm Alex.
So, on to our pointless interlude of sports. You've been keeping up with NBA postseason and all?
A little bit, here and there. You saw, who was it? Golden State and Portland. And very interesting stat was the fact that at one point in 3 of the 4 games, they got swept, right?
I'm not sure. I think so. If not, it might have been
whatever. The point being, they had something along the lines of a 17-point lead, an 18-point lead, another 17-point lead, and a 5-point lead, and lost all 4 of those games.
That tends to happen with a team that's as good as the Golden State Warriors, who I still predict will win, will beat the Toronto Raptors. As much as I love Kawhi, seems like a great dude.
I've been a fan of Kawhi for a while.
It was a rough series,
I liked watching him when he was on the Spurs.
Raptors Bucks, I was saying it felt like watching Civil War. It's like Cap and Tony Stark fighting. It's like, guys, I like you guys. Like, it's so rough to watch. Like, I love Kawhi, love Giannis. We've gushed about the Bucks, and there's a lot of Bulls up there.
You were just like Andy Barkley when Chucky slipped the thing on the doctor's head. Stop! Stop!
A little bit. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's rough, but we'll see how it goes. When is game 1? Probably this weekend?
As of this recording, it'll be, whatever. We're recording this Wednesday, it'll be the next day. It'll be Thursday, will be game 1.
Oh, wow. Damn, okay.
No, I kind of agree with you. Even with all the injuries that the Warriors have had, they're just that stacked, and it's just that rigged in their favor. I'll
say this. If it's... if the Raptors put up one series win, maybe I'll watch, but I don't know if it'll happen.
You know what the real bitch of it is that not that I dislike the Raptors, but I just had a feeling that the Bucks would put up a better fight.
Yeah, I think you weren't alone there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm just pretty surprised that they lost this series to the Raptors.
Kawhi went ham. He had
sure
like
did.
2 33-plus point games or something. He went nuts, man.
Hasn't he had a couple blocks here and there, too?
I think so.
He's been pretty ridiculous.
At the end of the day, Giannis was good, but he wasn't Kawhi.
He was pretty cold in a couple of games I saw.
The last few, mostly.
Yeah. Especially, was he the one who was just miserable at the free throw line?
You might be right.
I think that it was someone on the Bucks was having a rough ride at the free throw line, and it seemed like it was part of the difference maker. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was no bueno. I think it was game 5, I remember pretty well, that they're having a cold shooting night.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's NBA.
It's one of those war of attrition type series.
But NHL
has been interesting. Now, I don't know if we mentioned it last time, we're finally here at the finals.
Blues.
The St. Louis Blues and the Boston Bruins going at it.
Go Bruins.
Yeah,
dare I say?
Yeah, I'm not about that bullshit. Oh, but what about rooting for, regional teams? No, fuck that.
I'm not a Blues fan, and that's saying as much as like the Boston just won a fucking a Super Bowl and a World Series, and I would much rather see them win in a Stanley Cup than see St. Louis win one. That's how much the St. Louis hatred is. That's how real it is here in Chicago, folks.
Yeah. Well, I like the Bruins better anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really, as I've said, they're the one Boston team I don't hate for some odd reason. I don't know.
Same.
Yeah. I just want all of them to do well except Backus, because after all, he was on the Blues.
That's true.
Yeah. So far, that's been an interesting series. As of this recording, they're playing right now.
Yes.
Game 1 was interesting, though, because with all the rest that the Bruins had from sweeping Carolina, everyone thought, oh, that might affect them. And it kind of did to start. They were down 2-0. And then they climbed all the way back and said, wait a minute, we're a better team than them.
Yeah.
I think I'd be very, very surprised, as I've said, and I still maintain it. If the Blues win more than one game, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think you're
The West,
Once again, you're right, I think.
I just don't feel like the West's nearly stacked up to the East this year. Mm-hmm. Because in the East, it felt like, wow, there's a lot of good teams here. Who's going to go? In the West, it felt more along the lines of, well, somebody's got to win.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the one year where in the NFC East for football, all the teams had losing records, but, you know, you win the division, you get a playoff spot.
Right.
I think I remember the quote on some show on either ESPN or NBC Sports, someone saying, the real question is, does anybody want to win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll be an interesting race down the stretch, because after all, this is hockey, and crazy shit can happen.
Stuff gets weird.
Yeah, it definitely does. However, I think the Bruins got this.
I agree.
And that'll do it for sports. UFC, same old deal. We got Chicago cards pretty stacked now. Mariah Cejudo, Valentina versus, I can't remember, whatever. Valentina
Cowboy.
Shevchenko's fighting. Yes. Cowboy Cerrone versus Tony Ferguson. That's going to be a good one.
See, I remembered his name this time.
Yeah. No, you know what happened is I remembered Cejudo Marias, and then I forgot Tony Ferguson.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then you saved me with Ferguson when I forgot last time. Well, anyway.
Well, no, I forgot it last time.
Oh, that's what I meant. God damn it.
No, you're good.
Yeah, who's on stage? or who's on first?
Is who on stage and on first?
Well, I thought they should do who's on first, but with bands. You know, they do the band, yes.
Oh.
Who's on stage? The band? No. Who's on stage? Yes? No, the band. Some shit like that. That's
you put in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
is that
what you
mean?
Yeah, the band, like the take the load off from there, whatever the fuck it's called. The weight.
Take a load off. Something ends with a Y?
Mandy. Yeah. Point being,
you put the load right on me.
Yeah.
That'll do it for sports.
Yes, that'll do it for sports. And ripping off old Abbott and Costello routines.
Yes.
So now we move on to the news, starting off with some bits. That's right, just short little things. First up, Mortal Kombat now has a new release date. It'll be expected to hit theaters March 5th of 2021.
So that's obviously going to be, as we reported last week, filmed by one Simon McQuoid and probably shot in Australia, as per a report that, again, we reported last week.
And also James Wan's producing and stuff.
Yes.
Next little bit, Black Widow has started filming, currently underway with shooting in Norway.
It's very interesting because this movie does not have a release date as of right now, but considering that it's filming as we speak, probably going to be coming out next year, it's safe to say, and that is going to be directed by Kate Shortland. We've talked about that a bit, starring none other than, of course, Scarlett Johansson.
And some other people are in it.
David Harbour.
And Florence Pugh.
And
or
Rachel,
however you say her name.
Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, Weisz and Florence Pugh. No, but for real, Rachel Weisz and Florence Pugh.
Yes.
Also interesting to note, this is the first time in recent memory that I can think of a Marvel movie starting filming without being part of a gigantic official slate announcement. Mm-hmm. We sort of knew what the slate was, you know, this... Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2, Eternals, and Shang-Chi. Mm-hmm. But this, weirdly, it just sort of started filming. And if I'm keeping score correctly, I believe it was supposed to start filming later.
Yeah.
You know, at least start mid-June or something like that.
Welcome to the post-Infinity Saga world, folks.
Yeah, where maybe things might be interesting and we'll just have things pop up.
Let's hope.
Anyway, excited as hell for that movie. I'm glad it started filming. Next up, John Wick 4 is set for May 21st with a May 21st, 2021 release date.
So this is coming hot off of a very solid opening weekend debut for John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. I think it made... Well, it's at $182 million total so far, and from what we understand, everybody's going to be back for this that you would expect to be back. Chad Stahelski, Derek Kolstad, Keanu.
Yeah, Angelica Houston and Ruby Rose is supposedly going to be back.
Interesting. More on that in our John Wick review later this episode.
Right. And then our final bit of news. Apparently, some genius thinks that Akira is coming out on the same day as John Wick 4. I very much doubt that'll stand, but Akira currently has a May 21st, 2020 release date set. Of course, again, directed by Taika Waititi and produced by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes, we have no casting information on this. Taika Waititi's directing.
I'm hoping it's a Japanese cast.
Let's hope so. That sounds like what they're doing. We talked about that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's been conflicting reports on where it's taken place.
Like Taika Waititi, I like him as an action movie director. We've seen it work.
Right.
Hopefully it can work outside the realms of the MCU.
Just do not make Akira quirky, for Christ's sakes.
Oof, and don't make him a bartender.
Yeah, or whatever the
going
hell
on.
those weird reports are saying. So that'll do it for the bit news. On to the bigger stories. So, normally, we don't talk about rumors on here. But this is coming to us from a very reliable source. I would say 85% of the time this guy's right.
Yeah.
Justin Kroll of Variety gives us a report that Robert Pattinson is looking to close the deal to be the next Batman. That's right, Robert Pattinson looking to don the cape and the cowl. It is said that others on the short list are Aaron Taylor Johnson, Armie Hammer, and Nicholas Hoult.
But that it sounds as if that Robert Pattinson is going to be the done deal. This story has taken the world by storm. We kind of held off of it last week.
Right, because we wanted to see if it was legit.
Let the dust settle,
right.
See what was going on, and coming up later, we'll talk about Cannes a lot more, but I guess at Cannes, Robert Pattinson would neither confirm or deny this was a done deal, so it pretty much sounds like this is going to be the case. A lot of people have a lot of different opinions on this, understandably so. There are some things, there are some questionable career moves that Robert Pattinson as an actor has to answer for, but...
However, I just want to start off, though. It's unfair to kind of make him married to whatever the fuck his character's name is.
Edward Cullen.
Yeah.
I was going to say, he has, if you're familiar with any of his work, he has answered for those by being in movies that are the atypical, the exact opposite of what Twilight was, which is indie stuff, working with auteur filmmakers like David Michaud and Robert Eggers and the Safdie brothers. He just is cutting his teeth on working with indie filmmakers. So he has. If you're worried about the sort of Edward Cullen-y Robert Pattinson's, that hasn't been a thing since 2013, really.
Right. That's kind of the. This isn't a sitcom role that he had for 10 years or whatever.
No.
Because I know that that's kind of the, what do they call that? The Kramer effect, sort of?
Yeah.
Or in some cases, the Screech effect.
Yeah, oof.
But Robert Pattinson has not stabbed anybody at a bar.
Nope, that has yet to happen, and he's not had a sex tape released yet.
No, but the point is, I think that's unfair to say, oh, he's this guy. Mm-hmm. Especially because he's, as you've pointed out, taken on different types of roles. However, if I'm just, giving it my 2 cents, I don't see him as a first choice.
Oh, I would agree with you there,
not
too.
At all.
As far as the shortlist goes, my first choice would probably be Armie Hammer.
I was going to say Armie Hammer.
The dude's 6'5" and 240 pounds.
I mean, he just... the role he had in Free Fire.
Oh, yeah.
If you make that guy less of, a sketchy dude who doesn't go to gun deals, with
darker hair, same suit, maybe less 70s.
He kind of exudes Bruce Wayne.
Definitely.
I definitely see that. And as I watched part of it on TV, he is no stranger to wearing a mask.
No, that's true.
And playing beloved heroes.
Yeah. Lone Ranger.
Not
a great movie.
Not a great movie, but I don't know. I thought that
was maligned a little, not unfairly, but it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
No, well, I mean, my perspective from only seeing the last 45 minutes, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, it wasn't
the part
horrible.
I saw with the with the train chase scene. That shit was pretty cool.
Yeah, it wasn't so
That's
bad.
my review of part of a movie. It was pretty good. No, but my point is,
I get that inclination.
I get the vibe of an action hero from his characters way more than I do from Robert Pattinson.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's done these other things, which, as I said, it's more the fact that he shouldn't just be Edward Cullen. However, even with his body of work, I'm really not seeing Bruce Wayne in there.
I will admit as well, it wasn't my first choice, but I think this is one of those things. And one of the more fairer complaints I've heard is like, look, I'm not saying he's a shitty actor.
Right.
I just don't see him as Batman.
Yeah.
That I understand.
That's what I'm saying.
But what I will say is, I think we have to bear in mind the interpretation of Batman that Matt Reeves has gone on record and saying he wants to go for, which is more detective-oriented, more like a younger Batman who's like not really he's not seasoned enough.
Right.
So that in mind, I'm like, all right, I could see Robert Pattinson in that.
Yeah.
Like being a younger, like maybe the first year of Batmandom, you know?
But yeah, I suppose, but even, I don't know. This is kind of like, I'm trying to think of a good example. I mean, there's been a couple in Marvel where they're not my first choice and they turned out they did a good job.
This isn't Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, where you're like, yep, that's
the dude.
That's the perfect casting. I was a little lukewarm on like, fuck man, I was lukewarm on Chris Evans as Captain America initially.
It's another one of those things. Can you escape your past roles?
I was guilty of that. I'm like, Human Torch.
He was even reluctant because of the way Fantastic Four turned out.
Understandably so.
Right.
And like there's some others like I was a little lukewarm on Paul Rudd, like I don't know, comedy actor.
That's a perfect example. It's just one of those guys where he's capable, but he's definitely not a first choice.
Yeah, but he's Scott Lang.
Yeah,
and Chris Evans is Cap. Full stop.
Especially with Cap.
We still don't necessarily know what this movie is. Is this DCEU related? Sounds like probably not.
What?
Well,
no way.
Tangentially, I mean.
Oh,
what are they going to do with Batfleck now? They're just going to retcon him? They're going to retcon Bruce Wayne 20 years younger than he is? I don't know. I'd imagine this is going to be maybe more in line with the DC Black line of films.
Hold on. Are you telling me that DC has started another clusterfuck of unanswered questions and whatabouts and how's this going to works?
Speculation time. I heard a rumor that
there's going to be 6 Batman villains.
Not even that. I heard a rumor. Well, there is that rumor that Penguin and Catwoman are going to be the villains in this, which is another conversation. But and others.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a rumor that the Bruce Wayne you see in the trailer for Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix is a young Robert Pattinson. That's like the craziest conspiracy theory rumor I've found so far. And I don't know how I feel about it so far. I'd have to wait and see on Joker. But it would certainly set a tone for what I guess this would be like if that were the case. I'm about 95% certain that's not going to be the case, though.
Yeah, that's probably not the case.
But I'm almost certain this isn't going to be a DCEU film. I think it'll be.
What the hell is it going to be? A third DC line of movies?
No, it's going to be like DC Black, like the Joker. It's like Joker. It's just going to be a
Oh, so you're saying DC Black Label or whatever the hell it's called. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a like an anthology, essentially, of like unrelated things.
Yeah, it's not its own canon. It's just like
a series of
an artistic playpen.
A series of Elseworlds.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that could be more in line with what we're thinking because we heard that. Remember when he was contracted to direct this, still starring Batfleck, and I feel like part of the reason, not even I'm almost certain part of the reason why it's taken this long is because Matt Reeves from Jump has not wanted to fucking make a DCEU movie with Ben Affleck and being related to the continuity. He just wanted to make a Batman movie that he's been trying to get made for fucking past however long he's been directing. Which I get. I kind of want to go more towards that. I don't want to see DC do cinematic universes. I get that with Marvel movies. We've seen them try the DC universe thing. It was whatever.
Well, why not rebuild it from the ashes of the newfound success of Aquaman?
Well, they're doing that too.
Just do the Ed Norton Hulk thing. Sort of, kind of a sequel, but not really.
Well, they're doing that with Suicide Squad, right?
God, see, I have no idea.
So much going on.
I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Apparently, Rick Flag's back. Speaking of which, side note.
Yeah.
So Joel Kinnaman's back.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is going on? Someone
don't know.
please tell me.
Yeah, James Gunn's had an interview recently where he said, like, it's a sequel, kind of.
Man, yeah, he doesn't even fucking know. He's directing it.
Yeah. He's being coy.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, you know, it'd be nice in a couple months from now at Comic-Con we get some goddamn answers.
Yeah.
Maybe Birds of Prey will have some answers. Or maybe not. Maybe it'll make absolutely no sense.
Well, they usually show... I mean, what did we get last year?
Well, hold on. They might be going the X-Men route. Where it's just, fuck it. Things happen and continuity be damned. We're just going to do whatever.
I say this year we get some casting news. We get a Wonder Woman trailer and a Birds of Prey trailer. Because you remember last year we got a Shazam and... Like, Warner Brothers showed up to fucking
They
dance.
showed up ham, yeah.
They had a Godzilla trailer, a Shazam trailer, and an Aquaman trailer at Comic-Con.
And they had footage from Titans.
Yeah.
So they had,
they threw down something.
Yeah.
For some of those. But I think that's what we'll be getting. And that's only a few short weeks away. Wait, when is Comic-Con? June?
July.
Oh, July. So about a month away.
Middle-ish, late-ish July. I think it's
month
the
and a half.
18th or something.
Month and change. That's not too bad. I can wait that long. But
So basically, you've just made me realize I'm even more confused about DC Universe going forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just... Well, here's my thing. What about sequels? Because everything's about the long con.
Yeah.
So do you think that each one of these movies are going to be their own universes? Because I'd be fine with that.
I'd be fine with that, too. Like, if Joker's... I'm telling you, man, this Joker movie is
Joker's
going to
its
have a
own
lot
thing.
riding on it. Yeah.
So Joker's its own thing. That probably won't have a sequel.
No.
Okay,
no.
but Batman will.
It will undoubtedly if it does... Well, not even if it does well. It has to.
So how the hell is that going to work? Explain.
I'm guessing it's just going to be like its own trilogy, not related to anything else except for the movies within its own franchise.
So then where'd Batman go in the other universe, which is definitely still a thing right now?
I guess we're going to have to find out in the Flashpoint movie. That's never going to happen.
See, that's my thing. I feel like the only way to undo this bullshit or whatever
It's Flashpoint.
is Flashpoint, and that doesn't seem like it's ever happening. So if Flashpoint isn't happening, you need some world-bending event.
Yeah.
What the hell else could it be? I don't know. Maybe some version of Crisis on whatever the fuck Earth, however.
Marv Wolfman comes in.
Whatever those comics are, they're all the same title, but they're different. Infinite Earth, Infinite Crisis. They're all the same shit.
Yeah. One of them, Batman dies.
One of them's actually good.
Yeah.
There, I said it. What's the first one from the 80s? Oh, it's boring.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, I think it's... Well, there's multiple... Oh, fuck, whatever. The one from the 80s has...
These goddamn DC team-ups are so fucking hard. I mean, they never get as hard. Like, in Marvel, you have, like, is it Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War? It's, like, never gets as bad as, like, Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths? Is it Final Crisis? Infinite?
No, idiot. It's multiple crises on multiple Earths. Dumbass. Yeah, it's the worst. The point is, the one in the 80s where Supergirl and Flash die.
Right.
It's boring. It has 4 good issues out of 12 issues. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I understand it's a big deal and it did some cool stuff, but
Killed Barry Allen.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that. That's not cool.
Yeah. But we don't know what's happening with this Batman movie yet. But as far as the casting goes,
but there we go. That's an option.
What, Infinite Crisis?
An
deal?
infinite something.
I get it. I could again. I fuck with it, but it's again the Toby Emmerich comment where he's like, we're gonna try and launch what does he say? We're gonna try and move away from the DCEU or the cinematic universe thing and try and focus on good solo flicks.
Okay, whatever that means.
It's been working better since they've adopted that,
except for the fact that they are still related.
Yes.
Like there's direct references to each other.
But they're like they're like Easter eggs.
Maybe not Aquaman as much.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about Steppenwolf once or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Shazam, there's a Batarang and like
So it's just a race for the finish line. Whoever makes the most money gets to have the universe built around them eventually for a team up. Ready, go.
Yeah, as far as the main DC
and then the rest
goes,
of those that don't. So Aquaman 2 makes more money than Batman. Mm-hmm. What then? just fuck Batman. You're just gonna stay as your own thing. Oh, and the Earth gets invaded by aliens. Well, fuck you. You're just a normal guy anyway. We don't need you. Stay home. How's this gonna work?
I don't know. Maybe aliens don't exist in the Batman movie that Matt Reeves is making.
Oh yeah, it's all realistic or whatever.
It's just Penguin and Catwoman.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Paul Giamatti is Penguin, please.
Yeah, I would
Thank you
concur.
kindly. That would be perfect casting.
I heard. Well, and now we'll figure out if what was it? Aza Gonzalez was rumored for Catwoman for a long time.
Sure,
I could
I'm
get
fine
behind
with
that. I don't know who else has been. Everyone throws a lot of names around for Catwoman just because she's such a popular character.
Look, man, Alexandra Daddario has yet to be in a comic book anything. She's a talented actress. And let's go. Let's do this.
Sure.
I'm excited to see who they end up picking for the other villains. I heard the Riddler is somewhat rumored. I haven't been hearing anything about the Joker. I wonder what this detective story is going to entail, because that's something we do know is confirmed from Matt Reeves. Is like, this is going to be like detective oriented.
Is it going to be a whodunit and he interviews all 6 of them separately?
I don't know. Is it going to be like
lots of
Hush?
Venetian blinds.
Venetian blinds.
Well, it could be like Hush. It could be one of those things
Riddler's,
where the Riddler's pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Spoiler for a almost 20-year-old comic book.
The Riddler's like the Hannibal Lecter that Batman has to consult with, but then you find out it's really him.
Yeah, something like that.
But
point is, apparently Robert Pattinson's Batman, who the fuck knows what's going on, hoping for some answers at this here comic convention in San Diego. So, moving along to our next story. We've got some updates on the Falcon and Winter Soldier movie. What the fuck is it?
a show.
TV show. That's the word.
Miniseries, sort of.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. From the top, shuffles papers. Okay. Looks at paper. Okay. So we've got some updates on the Falcon Winter Soldier miniseries. The cast is said to include returning faces such as Daniel Bruhl to reprise his role as Baron Zemo, and Emily Van Camp is back to play Sharon Carter and Agent 13. It is said that the series will be directed by Carrie Scogland, and she's going to direct all 6 episodes, and it's apparently written by Malcolm Spellman of Empire.
It's also expected to hit Disney Plus in August of 2020 as of right now. That could change, but that sounds about right for when it'll be out.
Yeah, it depends on how much they have for the budget.
Yeah.
Because is it going to feel like a full-blown movie just in 6 parts, or is it going to feel like TV?
Is it going to feel like an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or 6?
Please, no.
I don't think it will. And I'll say this casting, while it wasn't, like, in retrospect, like, I wasn't terribly surprised by it.
No.
But I like it. I like that, because that was a question I had coming out of, Jesus, I don't know which movie it was, but I remember it hit my head, like, the fuck is Zemo at? Like, he's just still in jail, right?
Well, see, Marvel, I feel like they left it that way on purpose with a lot of these characters because they figured, we can either kill him or we can bring him back later. So it looks like they chose to bring him back later.
And Sharon Carter, another one where it's just like, what
happened? And then you said, hey, wait a minute, Cap made out with her grandma. What the fuck's going on?
She's just...
Or niece.
She's just Steve's grand niece now. I don't know.
Yeah, something's weird about that.
But it's good to see that they're going to be tying up, not necessarily loose ends, but involving characters that we would have rather had liked to see a little bit more of, or more conclusive endings to.
That's kind of what I felt like with Sharon Carter, because at least in Captain America comics lore, she's an important character and a major player at S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'd like to see an actual mask on Baron Zemo this time around.
True. Also very true. I would definitely like to see a mask on Zemo.
Get that pillowcase mask on, man.
Basically, I want this show to feel like Captain America's cronies just all going at it.
Yeah, which brings up another point. Are they going to change the title of this?
Oh, Captain America and
Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier?
I don't know. Is it like Falcon kind of like still being Falcon but trying to transition into the Captain America role? You know, having trouble living up to the shoes left by Steve.
I hope he says, you know what, fuck it. I'm my own man. Like, he tries it, and he says, but I'm going to be Falcon.
I'm just going to be Captain America with wings.
Or Captain Falcon.
Are we going to get... What's the name of Captain Falcon? What's the name of Falcon's bird?
Redwing or whatever?
We're going to get him?
Well, he has the robot version in Civil War at the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. We're
But
gonna get
like an actual bird? I don't know. Probably not.
Because
that'd be my guess.
As Lawrence Fishburne says in a certain movie that we'll not talk about yet, birds don't have IP addresses. They can't be hacked.
That's true.
The information's super flyway.
That is absolutely correct. I don't know. It almost feels weird that it's going to be Captain America's cohorts, but he's not there.
Yeah, that's another question I had. Is he going to guest star in old makeup? At all?
Probably not. And I think it's feasible to have a show with all of Captain America's side characters without him being... It's like Batman comics, you know? You could have a Nightwing comic where it involves Gotham and, Scarecrow or...
But Batman's not. Yeah. Batman's busy with something else.
So, I don't know.
Justice League shit, maybe.
I'm sure it'll work out just fine.
Yeah.
So those are the updates. Carrie Scoglin has done a shitload of TV.
I feel good about it.
She's been working for a very long time. I feel real good about it. Not so high on Malcolm Spellman.
But we'll see.
But I don't... Whatever. It's like the producers write these things anyway. Let's just be real.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I mean, they hire some... Whoever the fuck. That's the Marvel way now.
But will it be any different now that it's a TV show?
That's true. Will they make it boring like normal TV?
I hope not. It's only 6 episodes. It can't be that bad.
That's true.
Can it?
Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I feel like 6 episodes, though, that's kind of...
We draw the line in miniseries, right? We're like, we'll watch miniseries. We're not TV people. But like miniseries, I fuck with miniseries.
Or short series, like how the British
BBC,
shows do.
Yeah, definitely.
In-betweeners, even though it's a comedy, even still had 8 episodes.
Yes.
Misfits was, I think, never more than 10 in a season. 10 was, gosh, double digits.
Yeah.
That was a lot. It doesn't matter. Point is, I'm looking forward to this show, and I'm very glad that these characters are returning.
Good to see some familiar faces.
Right. Seems like Marvel's figuring this out on how to make this make sense.
Mm-hmm.
You're using characters that you don't want to waste, so you're filling in the gaps. They're crafty bastards.
They sure are.
Those Disney folk. They know what they're doing. All right. Moving right along to our next story. We have a report on the ground from our correspondent at Cannes. Digitally speaking, of course.
Hello, I'm Robert Riley reporting from Cannes, France, where it smells of hot cheese, boiled snails, and waiters who get pissed off at you for being American and not pronouncing the names of their foods right. Now we move on to our other correspondent for some reason, Alex Davis.
Hello, Alex Davis on the ground in Cannes. Digitally speaking, of course. Bringing you the top stories. Starting with the winner of the Golden Palm. That was, of course, the Korean film Parasite, which is noteworthy for a couple of reasons. 1, it was the first Korean film to win the prize, and 2, France now officially acknowledges the existence of South Korea as a country. Also gaining high marks was Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse, the film being touted as cerebral, emotional, and psychologically thrilling. In short, critics liked it because it was in black and white. Another acclaimed film was Pain and Glory, which won several awards, including Most Pretentious Screenplay, Most Pretentious Title, and Most Pretentious Film about a director making a film about himself. And now back to Robert in the studio. Say, wait a minute, fella, I thought you were in Cannes. How'd you get there so fast?
Well, Alex, I teleported. Digitally speaking, of course. But, okay, anyway, for the real report now.
Yeah, now for some actual news from Cannes.
Some of that is right. But no, the awards ceremony for the 72nd Annual Festival de Cannes happened this past Saturday, ultimately bringing the 11-day affair to a close in typically noteworthy fashion. This year's jury, which consisted of directors Alejandro González Iñárritu and Yorgos Lanthimos, to name a few, awarded the coveted Golden Palm to Snowpiercer and the host director Bong Joon-ho's film Parasite, which is described as a dark comedy about a man whose family develops an odd obsession with another wealthier family living in their district. Other award winners include director Mati Diop's film Atlantics, Jean-Pierre and Luc Dardenne film Young Ahmed, Antonio Banderas for his performance in the film Pain and Glory, and Celine Sciamma for her film Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Some films that made a splash for
Hold
both...
up. Portrait on... What was that last one?
Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Wow. With a title like that, I don't know what it's about, but I already hate it.
I can imagine. Some other films that made a splash for both good and bad reasons, but did not take home any major awards include The Witch director Robert Eggers' newest Mindbender, The Lighthouse, which we mentioned, Quentin Tarantino's hotly anticipated Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which garnered a 6-minute standing ovation at the festival, and a Palm Dog Award.
So what's the longest standing ovation? Did they just stay there for 2 days for something?
I have no idea. It might have been the whole festival. There might be a secret standing ovation still occurring now that for a movie that got released in the 90s.
Yeah, they're still applauding the screening of Goodfellas or some shit like that, yeah.
But no, the movie didn't take home any major awards, but it did take home the Palm Dog Award, which I don't know if you're aware what the Palm Dog is, but it's an award they give out every year at Cannes for best performance by a canine or team of canine actors. And the dog...
Is that a joke?
No.
Oh,
They give it out every year. And Brandy...
Aw.
The little furry bubbers, the picture will be up on the podcast YouTube page or YouTube video. Little bubbers, Brandy won for Quentin Tarantino's movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So you know what? Good for you. And goddamn it, that might be the greatest award ever.
Yeah, I love... You know what? That's crazy. I didn't know. I really thought you were joking.
As much as we razz Can, that's fun. That's a fun thing to do.
You know what? I like that adorable doggy, too.
Same. Finally, as I mentioned... Some filmic faux pas occurred. Mektub, My Love Intermezzo.
Okay, I take that back about the portrait of the... I hate this movie based on its title.
So this is Blue is the Warmest Color director Abdelatif Keshish's 212-minute-long sequel to his 2017 film, Mektub, My Love Canto Uno. The film... which critics are calling a 3.5-hour showcase of twerking and debauchery, prompted numerous walkouts, including some from actual cast members of the film itself, and boos, of course, with the conclusion of the screening allegedly involving...
Boo, le boo.
Exactly. The conclusion of the screening itself allegedly involved the director addressing the audience himself, saying, quote, "I apologize for having detained you without warning. I am going away."
A weirdo. You know what he should have done is he should have thrown smoke balls down and disappeared.
Like the Prowler from Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Or Batman?
Whatever. He should have just done the smoke balls, and then people would say, "Whoa, what the hell was that about?" And then he'd be behind them and just yell, "And scene!"
Yeah. Like, that was the movie.
Yeah, that was the performance. It was performance art. It was making you watch a shitty movie and then me disappearing and then appearing behind you.
Yeah, there's always one of these big faux pas things. Last year it was the house that Jack built and the whole Lars von Trier mess.
I mean, but haven't some people seen these before they get selected? That's how it works, right?
Allegedly, the programmer for Cannes, I can't think of his name. It's like Fremo. I don't know how you pronounce it. But I guess all he saw was 15 minutes of the movie and was already ready to go. Like, he didn't watch the whole thing. He was like, all right, I'm just gonna put it in the in competition section just on principle.
Oh, nothing can go wrong, right?
Yeah, it didn't go over well.
Yeah.
So that was Cannes.
So there you have it. Cannes happened. There's some movies, maybe 2 or 3, that will actually end up playing anywhere in the U.S. I don't know. Or maybe some will just make their way out to New York and L.A. for 3 days only.
And for some reason, Dubuque. Where's Dubuque? Iowa?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Dubuque.
Yeah, but some of those titles, man, just... Could you make it more obvious you're trying to make some art film? The hell was that? Lady with the Portrait on Fire.
Yeah. I don't even know what that movie's
I
about.
feel like that you can always tell with titles like that. You know, just make up any title like that. Something like, The Time That Was, But Then Was To Be, or some bullshit. The formula is something about a random noun, maybe something grammatically weird and Shakespearean sounding. Airplane That I Was, or some shit like that.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of those you could make.
Yeah. No, it was, well, I don't know. We'll see with some of these movies. I don't know if I'm going to watch Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
A bouquet for a baker's dozen in France.
Yeah,
or some shit, I don't know.
The Orchid Thief. Oh, wait a minute. That's No, just kidding.
Thieves in the Night of the Night. I don't know. Okay. I killed this joke. Oh, well.
All right. Well, so moving on.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
We got Can. Oh, we got a real fantastic movie. There's this film coming out. It's called The Fanatic. We got our first look at some of the characters. So, real interesting thing about The Fanatic. It is directed by none other than Fred Durst, lead singer / rapper of the second best band of all time. So, so Creed is obvious God mode number 1. Limp Bizkit is, they're a close second.
Yeah.
Best band of all time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Pride of Jacksonville.
Exactly.
Oh, man. So, he's a director, and this isn't his first film.
No, he made an actual movie.
He's made a few.
Yeah.
He's also acted in movies.
Who knew?
Crazy, right? He's made a movie that you've probably heard of,
Yeah.
people listening to this.
Well, it was called The Long Shot, right?
The Long Shots with Ice Cube.
Yeah, he directed a movie with Ice Cube.
And Keke Palmer. Mostly
Right.
Ice Cube. But Keke Palmer's there too. He made movies.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I literally did not know that until people mentioned it in articles for this Fanatic movie.
He directed a commercial for eHarmony. So this movie, The Fanatic, it stars none other than John Travolta and Devon Sawa. And Travolta plays Moose, a rabid film fan who stalks his favorite action hero and attempts to destroy the actor's life. This film is inspired in part on some stalkers that Durst himself has had to deal with in the past, and I have a new candidate for most anticipated film for the rest of the year.
I cannot wait. I love everything about this. I love the horrible costume and obvious shitty fake hair.
Oh my god.
On John Travolta.
It's so bad, but I so understand it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they literally just said, let's make this guy look so unbelievably, laughably loserish that people just can't stand it.
So, it's no accident that we actually have this story bookending the Cannes story. Would you like to? Well, the certain news that happened with this film.
Well, see, this was apparently supposed to screen at Cannes.
Oh, man.
But John Travolta didn't like the cut, and now he is re-editing it himself.
It would have been Move Over Mick to My Love intermezzo. We've got Fred Durst's Fanatic.
The Fanatic coming to town.
My word. Yeah, this looks absolutely just ridiculous. And the concept of it on paper, like, directed by Fred Durst, starring post-2010 John Travolta.
And post-2002 Devon Sawa.
Yeah, what the hell is going on? Sure, let's see it.
Let's do it. I am definitely looking forward to the trailer. All right, so then up next, Sonic is delayed until February 2021. Can't say I didn't see this coming necessarily.
Yeah, you people asked for this. I mean, at least you people who wanted them to redesign the character. I'm shocked that this announcement didn't accompany Jeff Fowler, the director, saying that we're going to go back to the drawing board and do this, because I would have been shocked if they'd gotten the movie out in time, considering the fact it had been a complete redesign of the main fucking character.
That's kind of what I thought, is when they announced that they're doing this redesign, I thought one of two things. How are they going to finish this on time? Or if they do finish this on time, how shitty is this redesign going to look?
Mm-hmm. And I guess it's a good thing that they're not rushing it, I suppose. I mean, it's not like it's coming out, in a year.
Still polishing a turd.
Yeah, go back to our last episode and listen to how pissed off we got about the trailer for this. It's not a hot take. It doesn't look good, and I don't think this movie's going to get much better with a more game-accurate looking Sonic.
Yeah, because everything else about the movie is not game-accurate or entertaining looking.
Or palatable accurate.
Yeah, it just doesn't look good. All right, so Sonic's getting delayed. Who would have thought? 2021 is going to be such a crazy year.
Happy Valentine's Day next year, guys.
Yeah, but I don't know. That was used to be Deadpool, and would Kingsman have a couple movies on Valentine's Day?
I'm hearing that the new Kingsman prequel is coming out that same day, or that same weekend, or around thereabouts, and I'm doubting it's going to move.
Good luck, Sonic.
It should sit pretty there. Pretty good.
All right, so that'll do it for Sonic. Moving on to our final story for news. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic has a trilogy in the works. The films are to be written by Leda Kalogridis.
Calligridis? I don't know.
I don't know. Kalogridis. Anyway, she has written a lot of stuff, or she's at least been credited as one of several writers on a few projects, including Alita, Battle Angel, Altered Carbon, and Terminator Genesis. Mm-hmm. As well as some other things.
Shutter Island, Alexander, Trace for Deep Cuts.
Ooh, you brought up that was one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen. Alexander was.
I'll say this much. As far as dipping into Star Wars canon and Star Wars fodder for just like, we should make a movie about this. Knights of the Old Republic, interesting pull. I remember playing the games a long time ago. I remember liking, in particular, the story for those games is excellent. So that I like. There's a very noted one of the most famous twists in gaming history is in the first Knights of the Old Republic, and if replicated to the big screen, it should be as impactful if it's written well. And again, that's where my criticisms or my concerns rather come in, which is namely in the writer. I mean, Leda Kalogridis. I don't know if I pronounced her name right. Her screenwriting resume / CV, it's spotty.
Yeah.
She wrote Alita Battle Angel, which was, for all intents and purposes, a fine movie, not because of its script.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the... I mean, I felt like what made that movie work was the action and Rosa Salazar.
But then again, you could say, well, she co-wrote it with James Cameron. So, like, she's kind of skirted by on a lot of these. Like, well, it might be a shitty movie, but she co-wrote it with blah, blah, blah other people.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what to think about this.
I didn't like Altered Carbon, but I'm not a good measure of that because I don't... TV's not our thing.
Not our thing. I feel like I'll get a better idea of this when they choose a director. And after that, I'll have a better idea of what we're dealing with here.
See, what I like about this is they're acknowledging the... extended universe stuff, which I thought was so odd how they said, nah, fuck it, we're going to throw it all out, as soon as Disney bought Star Wars. Just makes sense to use some of it, You want a blueprint for Star Wars shit that's at least been used in something already and tested.
Right.
Either in a comic, a video game, something. Why not use some of it?
Yeah.
I also like this because... we're getting away from the Skywalkers.
Yeah. Something new.
You got this whole world. Let's get some outside of Luke, Leia, and their cronies. So I guess this is kind of noteworthy news in that it'd be the first Star Wars movie I'd be interested in seeing since they now canceled James Mangold Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Which would have been really awesome. Oh well.
Well, I guess we're going to have to... say it with me now. Wait and see.
Okay, so that will do it for the news. And now we move on to the review section of our podcast, where we will be talking about John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum.
This is our first subtitled John Wick movie. So it's John Wick, retroactively titled Chapter 1, John Wick Chapter 2, and now we got John Wick Chapter 3, as expected, but we got ourselves some preparing for war to do, don't we?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Well, where did we... I guess just as a brief overview of our opinions on the other John Wick films, I gave the first one an 8. I gave the second one an 8.5, but I will reduce it to an 8, just because I saw it again. But yeah. I like them both a lot, and they are some of the best action movies that cinema has to offer right now, and I think we're both in agreement on that.
Yeah, I would say that is a pretty accurate assessment. And I, of course, gave the first one a 4 out of 5. And how dare you, as you know, it's actually factually incorrect that you didn't give 2 a perfect score.
I know.
So obviously 2 is a tough act to follow for me because I really like 2.
And
I thought that was a perfect score if I've ever seen one.
And where do we leave off with 2 narratively? What's the setup for this here picture?
Well, so John Wick 3 starts with John Wick.
Oh, okay, interesting.
He's on the run from everyone because he broke the Continental's rules by killing on property grounds. So Ian McShane's character, what is his name again?
Winston.
Winston gives him an hour head start, which is more than he could have hoped for him to get away. But he said, "You're excommunicado, so I can't help you from here on out. You are no longer allowed at the Continental," and that's all of the Continentals around the world.
No services will be offered to you.
Right, by any of the associates of the Continental. So now he must navigate his way through New York and fight for his life as there's a $14 million bounty on his head. So, that's our plot. He's on the run.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's we're raring to go. I mean, the movie starts out, without spoiling too much, it's that hour, which I could have swore, like, at the end, didn't he already get excommunicadoed at the end of John Wick Chapter 2? Or am I losing it? Like, because they do the whole, like, he's excommunicado again, like, they do the countdown thing again. Didn't they already do that at the end of the second one?
It overlaps a little bit with 2.
But they kind of, like, not retcon it, because you never really see what happens, but you see what's going on as the countdown goes down, and there's some fighting to be had. There's a lot of fighting in this movie. Yeah,
I was just going to say, as if this wasn't obvious enough, but I just feel like they really upped the ante in this department. The stunts and the fight choreography were a sight to behold. You know, I love how John Wick, this series as it goes, it's like, it's almost as though they just go down a whiteboard. Yeah, would that kill you? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What else can you hit someone with?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple things I'm like, oh, don't hit him with, oh, fuck, they hit him with that. Ooh.
I think there's something to be said, though. They always find a way to do something they hadn't done before. You know, because as much as I love Rocky, it's just a guy punching dudes in a ring. It's the same movie.
And the dudes, like, don't look the same from movie to movie. Like, one of them's a tall blonde guy, one of them's Mr. T.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, but, like, you get the idea. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Rocky movies. But at the end of the day, they're pretty samey.
Right.
They really go out of their way in terms of just the action choreography to make things way different. And they always think of a new element, a new prop, a new setting. There's something that you can tell there really is a lot of craftsmanship, or I don't know what you'd call it. There's an art to action, and this movie really goes above and beyond to prove that.
On a technical level, this movie is pretty close to flawless. It looks amazing on a visual, like the cinematography is sharp, a lot of neon, a lot of wet streets, a lot of reflective surfaces, a lot of just brilliant imagery, but the editing, the shots on which we linger on the action, which is already so brilliantly choreographed, it's all amazing. It's everything that you expected this to be. In particular, I don't know if this happened in your theater, but in the first 20 minutes or so, and I'll get back to this in a second because I have something to say about this. The first 20 minutes of this, my audience, both times I saw this twice, both times I saw this, my audience was like a symphony of like, ooh, and
yeah.
Like, oh no, like
it was a communal experience.
And interestingly enough, and I'll get into this when we get into the cons of this movie, my audience was only that responsive for that long. It kind of went away. But I'll get into that in a second.
Well, without spoiling too much, number one thing I have heard from people, some of the fight scenes were too long. Fuck you. There's no such thing, damn it.
I heard that exact... No, it's...
No, I mean, all unnecessary cursing aside, I respectfully disagree.
See, you know what was weird is I A
fight, or go on.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, there's a couple moments where I was like, why am I not as engaged in this scene? And you know what it is? It was generally a scene involving sword play or gun play, where I was like, because that usually ends in two outcomes. It's going to be someone gets shot in the face or someone gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And there's very little room for variance. The melee stuff.
The fisticuffs.
Oh, man. There's a lot of stuff happens that you didn't expect, and the variance of action is a lot better. But I think my bigger problem with this movie, and I don't want to get super into the cons because, again, I got to talk about this for spoilers, but this is a con I've actually realized I have with the John Wick franchise, is that the action doesn't scale typically as the movie progresses. And it's a preference. Like, for example, Mission Impossible Fallout. How does it start out? Well, we got ourselves a little bit of a shootout in a dark alley, viaduct, whatever the fuck. How does it end? Tom Cruise is climbing a helicopter. The helicopter he gets into crashes into another helicopter, falls down a side of a cliff, blah, blah, blah. This is like, we're going to start... This movie kind of blows its load too soon, I think. It's like, we're going to start out with the three best scenes. There's going to be a scene in a library, without spoiling anything. There's going to be a scene involving some animals, and then a scene involving some sharp objects. And I'm like, these are the three best scenes. And maybe there's a couple other things interspersed throughout, but generally speaking...
excuse me, yeah. We'll get into that in spoilers.
This is the second John Wick movie where I was like, oh, that's how we're going to end? That's the ending?
Yeah.
That's not doesn't mean it's bad.
There's another thing is this movie without giving away too much, it kind of felt, and I shudder to say the word.
Oh yeah.
I shudder to say the word. It sort of felt like filler or a filler episode of a TV show, except the filler was all action.
Yep.
So me being an action fiend didn't really mind that all too much. Mm-hmm. However, I can say narratively, I really thought 3 was going to be different. And in fact, again, without saying too much, the fact that we have a fourth movie at all says a lot.
Yeah, we'll get into spoilers there, because I have not a bone to pick, but I've got a couple things where I'm like, oh man,
busting at the seams.
No,
time for spoilers, or got a couple more generalities.
A couple things. Narratively speaking, this movie is essentially, you want to break it down into like objectives. It's like John Wick. Oh. Well, like John Wick's like just running errands. It's like, I got to go here. All right, now I got to see this guy. Well, that didn't work. Got to go see this guy. Okay, now I got to go back and see this guy. It's like Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, it's not bad, but like if I'm breaking the like on paper, I'm looking at this movie and I'm like, there's not a lot of substance. Yeah. And without getting too spoilery, there's a point in the movie where I honestly did think we were going towards the conclusion of this trilogy, and I was like, oh shit, okay, so this is the culmination of these 3 movies. Fuck yeah, let's do it. And then in the ending, like literally the last 10 minutes, the movie kind of reneges on that. And I'm like, okay. Not that I don't want another one, but I'm like, I thought we were going for like an ending to this. Right. But I still like, it's the most enjoyable filler I've seen at the cinema in fuck ever. Oh man, is it?
Right, but it's weird that we'd even have that happen. And I guess I said this months ago. I said, I hope this is the last one.
So do I. Or so I don't know if I said it as explicitly as you, but I was feeling it. And I was feeling it while watching the movie too. Right.
So, spoilers?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, the ending.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to start at the end? Fuck it, fine.
Well... Yeah. So the part I was talking about is the scene where Winston, because like we're kind of wayfaring a little bit. We're like, all right, Halle Berry she kind of comes and pieces out. Yeah. And we got a couple other scenes with like him with the guy above the high table, and I'm like, all right, this is whatever. Like, where are we going with this? And then the movie kind of tricks you with that scene where he goes back to see Winston after he's cut his finger off and brands it. Yeah. Really fucking gross. And I'm like, you cut your finger off to just get rid of the ring? Why not just take the ring off, John?
But he had to sacrifice,
he had to sacrifice himself. Or sacrifice that his the John Wick that he married, what's his wife's name?
Doesn't matter.
That his wife married, essentially. He's got to lose his ring finger. But that scene where Winston's saying to him, like, John, what the fuck, man? Like, are you going to die John Wick, the Baba Yaga, or are you going to die John Wick, the husband who was loved and loves the memory of Daisy and his wife? And I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, cool. This is what the whole trilogy is about. We're building up to an ending. And then, like, as we were going through the fucking Mark Dacascos fight scene, which is amazing, by the way, and he's fucking awesome.
Right.
I was like, there's like 5 minutes left in this movie. They're not going to end this, are they? And of course they don't. And Winston betrays him, which I don't know if he really does. But then again, that fall, which, by the way...
He probably knew he's wearing some sort of bulletproof.
But that fall...
yeah.
I was like, okay, I can only buy so much in this...
Right. See, that was my problem, too. I was like...
He's dead. No.
Yeah, I'm like... I thought, there's no way he's going to survive this.
Yes.
But, I mean... It is a movie, but I thought John Wick was against, like, I thought
There's
John
only
Wick was
so
against
much
the Uber bullshit. That's
Right.
what I thought.
So the scene where he fucking, in the first John Wick, where he gets knocked out, like he gets bumped by that fucking caddy, and like he wakes up in the what the fuck, the church. He wakes up in the church, and I'm thinking I'm back scene.
Yeah.
So like when he gets hit there, it's like, all right, he got hit by a car. He's actually got hit by a car like 6 times in this franchise, but we you know, they don't look like bad hits. That looked like a CGI like Melissa McCarthy type. Like, it was like, you're like, if there was 2 stories, it'd have been like, all right, maybe he's alive. He fucking like broke his back on the fucking fire escape.
That was the other thing. They could have justified it by there's an awning and then another
like boing.
Something silly like that where
Right.
I could at least follow the logic. But that fall, he
was all
breaks
metal.
his back on the metal. Yeah.
It was like metal, concrete metal.
Yeah. Thank God there's a series of ladder rungs that my spine has landed on.
Maybe the dog, when he goes and runs away, licks him back to life like Catwoman in Catwoman. Like Halle Berry. And he becomes Dog Man. He has every reason to become Dog Man.
Why is there not a Dog Man?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Anyway.
We got Catman and Catwoman.
Okay, so that was one thing.
That's the ending.
Right. And then Bowery King is just there saying, hey, want to go after the high table? And my whole thought was, wasn't that what this movie was supposed to be? Because here's the way John Wick worked as a progression. Mm-hmm. Number 1, a guy gets revenge. You learn about this hotel, the Continental, and his world. That's number 1. Number 2, the world is expanded because we now learn about the high table. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, you realize he's on the run. Therefore, you thought the logical step would be, number 3, confront the high table. Mm-hmm. But this was number 3, run around and dick around and cut off your finger. Mm-hmm. Not that it wasn't awesome, because it was.
Yeah.
But
then confront the high table for a little bit, but not really. They kind of just really, like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, not really. So now you're gonna wait another movie to confront the high table? It just felt unnecessary.
Yeah, I was a little, not that I wasn't smiling at the end.
I was having a real good time.
Oh yeah, and that ending, god damn it! First of all, how much of a fucking joy do you think it is to write a movie knowing that Lawrence Fishburne is going to be saying the words you're writing? Like, knowing, like, all right, I got to write this so that it sounds cool coming out of Lawrence Fishburne. And then you, of course, as an idiot, are like, what am I talking about? Anything Lawrence Fishburne says is fucking cool.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie, other than the pugilism, of course, was the scene where Lawrence Fishburne is talking with the educator.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just such a Shakespearean meeting of the minds. Mm-hmm. I love that scene.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta cut a motherfucker.
Right.
It's great, man. He's great in it. He honestly doesn't have a lot to do. He's honestly there as set up for 4, I'm imagining. Winston has a lot to do, and Winston's also great. First of all, the Continental gets a lot of love. Winston and Sharon, played by Lance Reddick, or played by Ian McShane and Lance Reddick, respectively. That ending scene, like, man, it was good to see Lance Reddick get to do something.
That ending scene was insane.
Oh, first of all, gotta talk some Yahya Ruhian.
Okay.
Finally get something to do in an action movie that's American.
I was just about to say thank you. And don't forget, I forgot his name, something.
Yeah. I'll look it up.
The dude who he fights in Raid 2 in the kitchen. I think that's him.
Sesepari Rahman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's also from the Raid series.
Oh, yeah.
So these two guys get to do a shitload of fighting.
Oh, yeah.
A
lot of killing.
That was the other thing, is I liked how you saw how Zero, played by Mark...
Played brilliantly by Mark Dacascos.
Amazing.
He's hilarious.
There's a really great scene, by the way, with him, Keanu, and a doggy.
Oh, my God.
My theater was howling at that.
It's such a fun...
No doggy, pun intended.
Oh, man, it's such a fun dynamic.
When he said... Yeah, see, that's the thing.
I'm a big fan of yours.
Yeah.
It's like, what a funny idea for just like, I'm trying to kill you. And then it's like, no, dude, you're a legend. Like, I'd be honored to kill you. Like,
and then there's that whole thing, you and I are not so different.
Yeah.
There's just the dog's just like licking his face incessantly. I disagree.
What does he say too? He's like, we're both masters of death.
Yeah.
Mr. Wick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
This movie's amazing.
Great. That's what I'm saying. The action was out of this world. One of my favorite scenes is they're in that weird antique place in New York. Okay,
well, so that's the first 20 minutes. Which are the best part, I think.
You're right. A lot of the best scenes were at the beginning. So you have this crazy shit happening where they're throwing all these knives at each other. They're running out of weapons. What do? Both of them at this, almost, in unison. Both break the next glass container. Mm-hmm. They're throwing the knives at each other, and they're just not sticking.
Well, those first three scenes in general, like the Boban scene, which he kills somebody with a book. Which, God. Oh, man, it was brutal. It was amazing.
So Boban, who's a basketball player.
Yes, Boban Marjanovic, who plays for...
The Clippers, right?
The 76ers.
Oh, my bad.
He might have... Wait, did he ever play for the Clippers?
Whatever.
Doesn't matter. But he's
an NBA player.
He fucking bites it, and then John goes out, and then he goes to that antique store, and man, how about that scene where you have like the it's like a... what do you call it? It's kind of like a fake out where you're like, John's got the knife and he's like slowly getting it towards the guy's eye and you're like, something's going to happen. It's like, nope, he just slowly presses the knife into a dude's eyeball. And I'm like, ah! That was another scene where everybody was like, oh, fuck. And then after that,
the horses.
The stables.
That was so ridiculous.
That is so fun. Like, I wanted that to be the whole movie. I'm like, let's go. Let's make this
like Mad Max Fury Road, but nonstop, him, like, but with John Wick on the run.
Yeah, like, let's fucking do this. He's like getting from one side of like town to the other. Let's fucking go. Because that was essentially what we did in John Wick 2. But I'm like, you guys are still making ways to make this fun. Let's fucking go. We don't do that. But, oh man, by the way, how fucking short was that horse motorcycle chase scene? I was like, oh man, there's only 2 bikers after him.
I didn't mind that because...
it was good, but it
was good, but
like 3 more bikers.
There's just certain things that John Wick movies are the best at. Mm-hmm. Motorcycle chases and honestly car chases. Mm-hmm. That's not something they spend a whole lot of time on.
That motorcycle chase later though with the swords and Zero's guys. May I remind you, there's a scene where John Wick cuts a dude's arm to the point where it detaches itself from his shoulder socket and gets caught in the wheel of the fucking bike, and the bike flips in the air. This is what I'm saying. Holy shit!
This is what I'm saying about specifics. It's not, I hit your motorcycle and it just kind of swerved generically off the road. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have something that's that planned out and has that many unique steps to it.
And I think that's my big criticism with a lot of the gunplay and swordplay scenes is like...
Oh, how dare you.
Well, no, specifics are harder to spot in those scenes.
Oh, well, see, but that's what I thought they did right with, they're wearing body armor. I need something more...
That was fine.
Yeah. But there was also, apparently, there's all the shit he was doing accurately, like the quad loading.
Oh, yeah. Like, I love the stuff where it's like, oh, shit, I'm out of my bullet. I'm going to use the fucking spare shell to fucking blow this guy away. Like, I love that. But a lot of the other stuff... I don't know, like I found the using the environment to the advantage fight work a lot more interesting than the gunplay and sword fighting. Though the sword fighting was cool too.
How dare you? I thought the sword fighting was perfect.
It would have been I would have forgiven it more if it was in the beginning of the movie. Like could you imagine if the first 20 minutes of this movie were the last 20 minutes of this movie?
It's hard to say because there's just a shitload of action in this.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to sort a lot of it out.
Yeah, okay, so the ending scene with Yayan Ruhian and Sef Arif Rahman, that fight scene was bonkers. And it's
I love that he doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, you guys showed me mercy, so I'm just going to let you go to sleep.
He kills one of them, doesn't he?
No, he just body slams them through the glass and they just like pass the fuck out.
Oh, I thought he kills
the other dude.
Zero.
Well, he kills Zero, and then there's like 2 other guys that he fights. Remember the
Yeah.
scene where he's getting kicked through the fucking glass like
Yeah.
5 times?
That's what I mean. They really used the environments, and again, set design was stellar.
Love that penthouse.
Yeah, it looked a little similar to the Hall of Mirrors thing too, but I was willing to forgive that because it reminded me of a very, very fine film by Bruce Lee. Another Bruce Lee homage. Of course, climbing the flights of stairs, much like the tower in Game of Death.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.
So, another great Bruce Lee homage. How about that scene in
the Casbah?
Morocco?
Rocking the Casbah with Halle Berry and the doggies?
Shit. That whole scene was incredible. That was, to me, I just kept thinking to myself, more, damn it. Because
money shot scene. Dog jumps up on top of the Casbah, like jumps up on Halle Berry's back. How about that fucking scene? Like, ooh, that's a good stunt.
There's a lot there. Oh, by the way, just want to point something out. So when Gianni, as we learn,
Jovanovic.
Yeah, we learn where he's from.
He's a man of many names. This John Wick, this Baba Yaga.
He's Belarusian, right?
Yeah, child of the Belarus.
Right, and while he's at this school, we see a young ballerina.
Interesting.
And a few other ballerinas. And what else do we see? As I pointed out when I said I saw some blank throws. Sambo.
There you go.
I was like, I knew he knew Sambo. And there it was. The kid does a real nice Sambo throw.
They do that like, what the fuck is it? The one where he like jumps on a dude and like rolls into he rolls into a throw and like fucking shoots 2 guys. They do that like 7 times. And Halle Berry does it like twice too. I'm like, damn, they love this move. And it's a great move.
It's a great move and I never get tired of it. So, frankly, just keep doing it.
But that ballerina stuff is also interesting of note, or worthy of note, because that is going to be a John Wick spinoff coming near you called Ballerina, which we talked about. Shay Hatton, who wrote that, has a co-writing credit on this. And another interesting thing is that this is actually one of the first, if not, I think the first John Wick film that Derek Kolstad hasn't written by himself.
Right.
This has got about 4 writers on it. It doesn't really feel like it. It still feels like a cohesive John Wick film, though there are some things where I'm like, where are we going with this?
But I feel like the upping of ridiculousness, such as him surviving the fall, him cutting off his finger, which I kind of understood the symbolism or whatever.
He takes his licks.
There's just a little bit of, or him, even like, I don't know, him riding a horse, So, like one of my friends kind of said he felt like this series had kind of become a parody of itself. However, he said, but I still loved it.
Yeah.
I kind of get what he means.
I think it just breaches on parody. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's just.
That's what I mean. I'm worried about a 4th movie now. I'm worried a 4th one might suck, or that the ending, which they could have wrapped up in 3, might not be as satisfying.
Well, I'll see if I can ease you a little bit. I don't know how many more of these they can make with Keanu Reeves being 50-something years old.
That's also what I figured.
So I feel like they're probably going to wrap it up pretty soon.
Right.
If not in a 4th movie, God.
Yeah.
Maybe a 5th one.
Well,
not that I don't want more.
Yeah. The whole Morocco scene was pretty nifty, though.
Yeah.
And one thing I really liked about Halle Berry's characters, you get the idea, what did John Wick do to fuck up so badly? Yeah. She seemed awfully unhappy to see him.
Especially for being somebody that, like, honored a blood oath with her. Yeah. Like, to get her daughter the fuck away, which was another thing.
Well, that's the thing that seems to be the name of the game in this series. There's so many people who think the rules are so important, and yet they're always willing to break them. Miss Perkins in the first one, Boban's character, he said, I still have 10 minutes. And he said, I don't give a shit. I'm going to get your bounty.
Especially knowing, like with this movie, the plot of this
all
movie,
the breaking of blood oaths, the framing of assassins, such as was the case of whatever the fuck his name was,
Santino.
Yes.
Well, there's that, and like, did the Bowery King and Winston not know of the harsh punishments that would come in play if the adjudicators in the high table found out about them helping John Wick? Like, if they knew, like, fuck you, I'm not giving you an hour or a gun, I'm gonna get killed. I like my fucking job. Like, so I don't know. There's just a couple things there. Like, they're not really retcons, but it's like, because they're essentially getting unseated. Like, adjudicator comes in and is like, you're out of here, motherfucker. You gave John Wick an hour.
I did like the deconsecrated.
Deconsecrate. Another word in the vocabulary.
But then after John Wick and Sharon.
Yeah.
Who gets some time to shine, which I loved.
Great scene. Shotgun.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was a great scene to watch. Mm-hmm. So they get their time to shine. And then they decide, well, we sent in our best team of killers. It didn't work out as we said. And then the adjudicator says, let's have a parlay.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that. That's the thing is, there's all these rules, but then they sort of, not that they don't end up meaning anything, but because of the nature of this business of assassins and the high table and all this shit, you know, you're bound to have people saying, all right, let's rework our deal. Mm-hmm. Let's work something out, even though we have the rules and whatever. There's something we're not agreeing on. Let's just find another way.
And I like the development of the adjudicator being like, oh shit, so you're just doing this so that you could prove to us that you're still worthy of being a manager of a facility. Yeah. Got it. And then they're like, but what about John Wick? And like Winston's like, well, he has to die. Kills him. He falls off a building, which I could feasibly see you playing off as like, well, Winston was just trying to save John Wick, trying to get him the fuck out of Dodge, if the building wasn't 18 stories tall.
Right.
So I'm like, because even at the end, he's like, John Wick is gone. He's like, yes, it's a pity. He'll be missed by many or whatever. And he's like, no, he's like fucking gone. And he's like, well, whatever. And he's like, Baba Yaga. But then I'm like, did you really think he was going to live? Or did you actually try and smoke his ass?
That's my problem is you have a certain level of suspension of disbelief per series.
Yeah.
So let's say something like, let's say Bourne is on the more realistic side.
Very much so.
Sort of.
Well,
let's just say
the original three.
Yeah, let's just say it's on the lower end of the threshold. Mm-hmm. And then Marvel and superheroes and Harry Potter is the highest.
And Fast and Furious is even above that.
In some ways. Yeah. No. Okay.
But for good reasons.
Right.
For fun reasons.
So John Wick, for the most part, was kind of right in the middle.
Yeah. It was like Mission Impossible James Bond-esque, where it's like, this could waver in
but
between.
With real tactical, your sambo jujitsu gun fu. Mm-hmm. Whatever. The point is, by doing some of the shit you did in this movie, mm-hmm. you've officially raised that suspension of disbelief level. But the problem is, you've already established it in the first two, so I have a hard time buying the fall off the whatever the fuck.
So
fall off the
Continental.
Yeah, falling off the roof and hitting all the ladders and shit on the way down. Oh, my back hurts.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't get up. He's picked up by none other than Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah.
Who's credited as the TikTok man, but I kept seeing him like, is that the fucking one dude from the league? Is that Raffi? Is that who he plays in the league?
Yeah.
No, but in sum, yes, you've changed things by doing that. I'm expecting John Wick to go to space in the next movie.
Yeah, basically something real weird has to happen.
Yes.
He's got to take out the high table, and I don't mean to sound like a bastard, but I'm sorry, John Wick 3. You've set up expectations. John Wick 4 better be the best action movie ever made.
If not that, then 5.
Well, yeah.
If that's even the last one.
I mean, I'm using hyperbole as people who critique movies do. No, but it better be it better be the best of this series at the very least. Mm-hmm. So let's move on to scores.
Yeah.
Unless you got other pressing matters.
No, just...
All right, let's move on to scores. What do you got?
Overall thoughts. I thought it was excellent. Really fun time. Great action. Great look. Great performance again by Keanu. I thought the story was stretched a little thin, and I'm worried that this franchise is stretching a little thin.
Right.
The story's fine, but again, there's just certain things about it I didn't really prefer. But overall, I feel the same about, like, net the same about every single one of these movies. I give it an 8, just as I have, but not for the same reasons. Different reasons.
All right, so I was lying to myself when I left the theater because I was dazzled by the action.
I remember you saying that.
I initially gave it a perfect score. But after thinking about the issues that bugged me, now part of it's because of this series, but that doesn't make those issues go away magically. So, again, absolutely stunning and spectacular, well choreographed, inventive action, shot magnificently. You can see everything, artfully shot. The scenes in the desert were great. It was funny.
Oh, yeah.
The plot was a little thin, but Jesus Christ, you could have made an all-action cut, and this movie would be an hour and a half long. So, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 as my final score, which brings us to a total of
12 out of 15.
And that'll do it for our review of Baba Yaga, Electric Boogaloo, and Your Little Dog Too.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to episode 49 of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Robert.
And I'm Alex.
As always, make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels, including Bonus Features with Alex and Robert on Facebook, Bonus Features with Alex and Robert on YouTube, and our brand new Twitter page at Bonus Features AR,
which you can find by, again, searching Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. And now it's time for a new thing we're just going to do at the end of shows. I'm just going to suggest random albums. Have you heard Led Zeppelin 3? It's good stuff. That's my album suggestion.
Led Zeppelin 4? Also pretty good.
That's also good, but I feel like that's a pretty well-known album.
Okay, I'll give you a different one.
Yeah, come on.
Since you're wearing a Yes shirt, I'm going to piss you off royally. 90125.
Oh, how dare you.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
All right, so that'll do it. See you guys next time.